Hello, in this video, I'm going to show you how to set up 3-point lighting for the scene and how to render a nice image for your 3D icon. The first thing we want to do is we want to have a nice backdrop, those that you've seen in photography studio. So let me teach you how to create that first. I want to hide my 3D objects for now, so I have a clean viewport to work with. So what I want to do is I want to add a plane. So go to mesh, add a plane, and then next what I want to do is I want to go into the edit mode and then select this edge and then click E to extrude and then click Z to extrude along the Z axis and something like this. And then I want to select this corner edge and then use Command D to bevel it. And I want to make it a little bit more smooth, so I have a nice, smooth background, something like this. Okay, so this is gonna be my background, and same thing. We want to edit out, and you can see that you can clearly see the line. So I want to change it to shade smooth, and then making sure my normals under the object data properties are checked. This way you see this becomes smoother when it's rendered. Okay, so now I want to turn my object back. Let me just put them, I can rearrange and then basically putting my object together. So what I can do is I can create a new collection and then basically put these into the collection, and I call it 3D icon, so that they are more organized. So what I want to do is I want to make the text a child of the foundation. So whenever I move the foundation, I will move both of them. So what I can do is select the foundation, which is the parent first, and then hold down Shift and then select the text, and then I can go to Object, Parent, and Object. This way now you can see that the foundation becomes the parent and the text becomes the child. So the order is very important when you do the selection. So now if I move the foundation by clicking, the foundation by hold down G, now you see that I can move both of them. So the background seems too small, so as to scale it up, I probably want it to be really big. And let me exit out this shading mode because it's too white. And now I can see my object a little better. So I click on my foundation, and then I want to R to rotate it. So the way I want to rotate it is I want to rotate it along the X axis for 90 degrees. So what I can do is click X and then 90. Okay, so this way I have it stand vertically. So yeah, we have the backdrop ready. Next thing we want to do is set up some lights. So we have one light already somewhere over here. So what I want to do is I need 3 of them. So I want to teach you to set up a basic 3-point lighting system, which have been used in real world for photography or videography. So first I want to move this by click G and then move it down a little bit. I want to set this as the backlight. So the backlight can help the object to separate from the background. So I will put one over there, and then let me enter into the top view. So I want to duplicate this light. So I can right click and duplicate objects. You can also use Command D to do that. So I want one on the left and Command D again. I want to right click and then duplicate again. Sorry, not Command D, it should be Shift D, and then one on the right side. Usually you want to have like a 45-degree angle, and then this one will be the key light, and usually this one will be the light that to fill in so the shadows won't be too harsh. And then in terms of the height, if I enter my side view, I can maybe make this one a little bit higher, and the other two seems okay for now. So yeah, so I have my lights ready, and later we need to adjust the lights properties to adjust the intensity and the size of the light. Basically, the light that I'm currently using is called the point light, and you see that under the light property, you can select it to be different kind of light. In the interest of time, we were not explaining the different kinds of light, but just knowing that we will use this point light for this tutorial. Okay, once we have that ready, I'm going to talk about materials. Basically, what Mesh does inside the 3D modeling software is determine the shape for the object. What material does is it will determine the look and feel of a particular object. For example, you can make the object look like a wood, look like a glass, make it a transparent, give it a color. These are all part of the material properties. So to give it some color, we need to do is to create a new material for each of the elements. So to create material, you want to go to the material tab and then click new. This way you can generate a new material, and you can double click to give it a different name. For example, I want to call it white because looking at the picture, we want a white color for the PX text. And so the color that I'm looking for is not completely white. I want a little bit grayish. So you can click on the base color and then choose whatever color you want, and then you can choose a different way that you prefer to select color. But here I will use my hex code since I know it already. So this is the color that I want to set it to. And then what I want to do is I also want to change the roughness to 0.8. This will make it the object look less shiny and give it a more like marble or matte finish. This usually looks quite nice inside the 3D illustration. So now I have a white material. So I can do the same thing, basically creating another material by clicking on the plus sign and then click new and then rename it. The next thing I want is a light purple. Okay, a light purple. So I want the light purple to be this color. And then the same, we want to change the roughness. There's so many different properties you can change for a material, but we're not going to talk about that in this tutorial. And then next, I want another material. I can call it dark purple. Okay, and then the color, copy the color for the base color, hex code. Okay, so change the roughness to 0.8. Okay, so now we have all the materials ready, so we just need to assign them to the different objects in the scene. So I know that I want this to be white, so I go down here to select the white material that I selected. So if you don't see this, because we're not in the material display mode, and you see now it has changed to this kind of white. So next, let's try the backdrop, and I want to change it to light purple. And we don't need these, so I will delete these. So this will become light purple. Okay, so now let's see how we can add colors to the 3D icon foundation. Inside the demo photo, you can see that we want the front square to be in a light purple, and then the back square to be in a dark purple. So to do that, first let's select the foundation, and we want to add a dark purple, so everything becomes dark. And next, we want to do is we want to select the surfaces for the front and then give it a different color. So to do that, we need to enter our edit mode, and we want to select those faces. So first, before we do that, another thing I want to do is to add another material. Sorry, not to change it, but to add another material. This way, later, we can assign these surfaces to the secondary color. So now let's see how we can select those faces. So if I double click, I can select a loop. However, the loop is horizontal. What I want is these vertical loops. So to do that, I find that you have to really zoom in and make sure that your mouse is near this line, and then double click. This way you can select the vertical loops. Okay, so we want to hold down Shift to double click to select all these loops as well as this top face. Okay, once we do that, and then we can click light purple and click Assign. And now you can see that I have two different colors. The front one is a light purple, the back is the dark purple. We have the materials assigned. Now, another thing I want to do is go to camera. And once you click on the camera, you can see the camera view, because when we render, we need to let the computer know where the camera is. It's like you taking using a camera to take a photo. So you have to position the camera to the optimal position that you want. So now it looks like I want to exit out of the camera and find my camera. So my camera is over here, and looks like it's shooting on the side. What I want is a front view. So what I can do is maybe go to top view. First, I want to move it along the x-axis like so, and then next I want to rotate it, and so it's shooting front. And then let me go to side view. I can move it down a little bit, G and Z to move it down a little bit, and then rotate it upward a little bit like so. Maybe down a little bit, and GZ to move it down a little bit more. Okay, so now I click on it. I think I move it too low, so now I want to move it up a little bit. Again, you can switch between this view and to see how it looks, and then by adjusting your camera, then you can get into a view that you like. Okay, I think this looks more or less what I want. And another thing you can do with camera is you can click on this little arrow, then you can show more menus and go to view, and then go to lock camera to view. And this way, when you use your middle mouse button, scroll, and you can scroll in and out to change the view. Basically, it's like moving your camera. However, you don't have to move it around. You can just use scroll to adjust your view. And once you're okay with the position, you can unclick it. So now we have almost everything done. So we can take a look at the rendering, and the next thing after we take a look at the rendering, then we can see how we can adjust the light to make it look better. So now you want to go to this rendering mode, and this will allow you to see what the rendering looks like. We want to go to the rendering settings, this little camera icon, and then for the render engine, you want to select cycles. This will give you a better rendering result. And then device, if you have GPU, you can use a GPU compute. That will be making it also faster. So another thing, you can see that there are some noises here. We could go to this tab, which is called View Layer Properties, and then at last there is denoising, so you can check on denoising. This way, when you render the image out, then you won't see those grainy dots on your images. So basically, you have a better rendering result. Another thing we usually do, we usually go to this world property and check on this ambient occlusion. What it does is basically it's a very sophisticated algorithm for shaders. Basically, it will calculate how materials respond to light and where to cast shadows, etc. So I won't go over in details about what this does, but you can look online to learn more about ambient occlusion. But usually ambient occlusion will make the final rendering result look better. So I will turn this on. I could adjust some of the light's properties. So if you go to light, and then one is you can adjust the color. You can be creative about a different color. I will show you later. But for the left light, usually the right light is the key light, and the left one is a fill-in light that doesn't need to be that strong. So what I can do is I can select the left light and adjusting the power. Maybe I can make it to 500, something like that. And then if you find your computer is running slow or nearly crashes, you can stop this real-time rendering to avoid that. And then once you finish editing your properties, then you can turn it on to see the result. So I can do that. Another thing you can do is adjust the size of your light. Basically, the light is coming down within an angle, so when you change the size, make it bigger, then the angle of the light will becomes bigger too. So for example, I can adjust to make the size of my light a little bit bigger, but usually this one I think I can keep it small. And for the key light, I want to make it bigger. And then power, I think I'm good with the current power. And what you also can do is, for example, you can unselect cast shadow, so then there will be no shadow. So depending on the kind of look you want, I will maybe turn off the shadow for now. And then let's go back to the backlight. The same thing, you can adjust the power. Maybe I can lower it a little bit, maybe to 800. So these are all the things that you can adjust yourself, and don't just copy my properties, because the final render result will really determines on the distance your light is from this object, and also the size of your object. So you won't be able to really get the exact result. So you want to play around and find the one that you like. Another thing you can try is to give it a different color. For example, I can give this one a light blue color, say this color, and then let's see what the rendering looks like. So you see now it adds some bluish color to this, so create a nice gradient, and that looks nice. I don't like these shadows, so I will turn this shadow off as well. And then the backlight. Okay, now I'm fine with it, so I will start render the image. So usually the rendering takes a bit time depending on the kind of computer you have. It will take several minutes or even longer. Okay, so my rendering is ready. Then you can go to image and click save to save your image. Okay, when you click on save image, I didn't see it. It was hidden here that you can select a folder to save. So I will save it to my desktop. I will say 3D icon render, and then save as image. So I also recommend saving the backdrop and the 3-point lights as a project template, so next time you don't have to reset up the backdrop and then the lights again, and then you can just start modeling. So basically following these steps, you will be able to create almost any icons that you see, either using SVG file or doing it from scratch inside Blender. And hopefully this project will make you feel like it's not that difficult to get into 3D, and you can get some really cool result just using some simple lighting and material.